Hello. All right, Gary. That's funny. Hello, Frank. Hello, Flying Squirrel. Hello, Bug the Goo. I think I saw Kukla in there. Hello, Titan, Sluggo, KJL Coog. Tony, happy birthday. Tried to miss you today, Tony. Hello, Voles. Hello, Rexy and Linda and Vicky. Yeah, Gary 7 is a hoot. Hello, Patty Ann Captain Spiffy. Checking in from the Orange County. Zip, I did see you. Haven't completely lost it. Yeah, only kind of. Hello, Karen. Hello, Edith. And we need the truth, an apocalyptic cave person. Fred, look at you in the house. Awesome, looking kind of peppy. Does it mean I don't know about how peppy. I'm what we call punch drunk. No alcohol involved, guys. That's what you get when you're just tired. You get funny and goofy. Hello, Bink. What's up, Coconut? I don't know. Need some limes. Let's see. Love Devore. Got my second wealth management appointment beginning next month based on currency holdings. Isn't it crazy how wealth managers suddenly want to have a conversation with some of you guys that they've ignored for years and said, about that, maybe we should have a sit down. Yeah, I like it. Buenos dias, Uncle Bear. Let's see. Rid back from the cruise with the daughter and fam. We all need more downtime. Hello, sir. Laugh a lot. Always a pleasure. Hello, Spirits Pen. I just wish more people could afford to do things and take those times with their families. Northern Ireland. Good to see you. Do you see how well, Greenland's already kind of fixing itself? Jason, he is out of the country today. He returns, if I understand it correctly, late tomorrow in the wee hours. So he is at Davos for 2 days and returns, if I understand his schedule properly. Pittsburgh in the house. Hello, JD. Hello, Kit Ricks. Yeah, it looks like 2020 voting disclosures are going to cause all kinds of chaos. I think it's part of the movie, and I straight up at this point, I think that's going to be our go. Cross my fingers, call me crazy, been called that before. I think that's our go. I think that's what we're pushing on, hanging on. Greg, I'm not going to comment and get you in more trouble. Yeah, if Greenland gets 100 grand to join, how much do I get for just being here? Gary, it doesn't look like we're going to have to give them any dollars. More popcorn. Let's see. California Chase Bank story set at an R redemption appointment for the 30th. Banker said the RV will be done well before that. I'm crossing my fingers. I'm getting that from a lot of different ones. I'm trying to hold off on news until we hit the 10-minute mark and then just rip through it. Not a whole lot out there. But one interesting one. Actually, two, I think, that are kind of interesting. Jay and Amy, it is a pleasure. Knight who says nigh. John Blue Star. Jerry, let's see, bracing for 90 hours of freezing temperatures, rain and snow in northeast Texas. Hello, George. Somali fraud was prep for people for election fraud. It could have been, or is that just prep for, I don't know, the protests? It's kind of crazy. I got one kind of crazy article out of Iraq today, too. Just shows you the mindset of politics. Nothing negative for RV, any of those things, but I do find it interesting commentary. See, Vicky said, please pray for our little town in Kentucky. There was a fire that took out half a block with several longtime businesses and several apartment homes. That's tough. Small town can't absorb that. Not to the big town. Destruction of property is always tough. Robert, that will talk. I don't think we have any right now for a credible contact on med beds that will talk. Blessed Brittany will talk about the news. I think it's good. I think it gives us an idea on our timing, but we will see. And we will talk about it at the 10-minute mark. How's Aunt Maxine? Still hanging in there, still fighting the fight. Jack, it would be nice to have a mic drop. I don't know. We got one that I think's pretty good. Do you think the weather is RV related? Created? No, Prison Bob. I do not in any way on this one. Could it be a knee jerk or from other engineering? Have you guys seen the OMG coverage from Davos where he's undercover? I mean, how anybody can't tell it's him. And they're talking about climate engineering and seed clouding and just open discussion, no problem. Yeah, we're messing with your weather. Oh, I'm thinking about adding this to the atmosphere. Oh, I got the guy for you. Let me introduce you to him. Mark Gray, good to see you in the house. Eeyore, always a pleasure. Hello, Clara and Wayne. Oh, Rick, I'm telling you, Andy's just top notch. A little hard on the curse jar, or actually, he's really good for it. Carol, I appreciate that one on the color. Have I ever heard Regina? I don't know much about it, but I have heard the Black Eagle Fund and the Eagle Funds. So when I heard that, I assumed that there's more than one. I have heard them mentioned, but I really don't know much personally about them. Somebody else saw those OMG drops. Yeah, Jason, half the country doesn't seem to care about chemicals, but they care about cow farts. You know, poison everything, no problem. Throw crap in the air that's toxic, no problem. Medical experiments, forced vaccinations, yeah, no problem. Just don't let the cow fart. Sabic. Between Sabic and Gary, guys, we are blessed. My goal was to lose 10 pounds this year. Only 15 more to go. Nothing dong specific. Where are we at? 8:08. All right, another minute or two. You know, I don't know what to say other than you. Perhaps due to family situation, it looks like I may have a larger amount of money soon. Start with a low number and say that plus if you think you're going to have five, say, I'm expecting, I don't know, maybe two. I don't know. I'm just spitballing here, guys. We are having a, what would you call it? Role-playing session. Jabril, good to see you. And just say, and I'm looking for safe investments. What are your suggestions and feel them out? That's all I'm kind of guess. I don't think you'll have much time to get medals when this thing finally goes. Lord, cows don't fart. Me, I'm worried about the toxins, not the cow farts. All right, that's it. 8:09. I think it's time to, yep. Way to go, Hoosers. Rum Doctor giving you guys a shout out. Let's just go ahead and get to it, guys. Pitter patter. I need enough break in between to eat a little dinner. So we're going to get at her as I try to hit all the right buttons. Twitch, I do love that meme. I locked myself in the garage with a cow. They locked themselves in a car, in a garage with a running car. In the morning, we'll ask them how the pollution comparison went, right? It'll be pretty clear. Let's head off to, well, actually, I know you guys really want the bond stuff first. I got responses from two different bond contacts. One just, hey, we got another meeting next week. And felt like a gut punch when I heard it until I got my second update. My second update said things went well. Going to be House shopping in the Mediterranean have to be back. This one was the Zurich contact in Zurich Monday morning. So I can't imagine they're going off because that was a code we were supposed to have about them when things were done. They were going to buy a mansion I think they mentioned Cyprus, somewhere like that, somewhere in the Mediterranean. Their response today was things went great. House shopping in the Mediterranean this week have to be back in Zurich Monday. So I don't know if that means they got any money or they have absolute guarantees or they got, I don't know what that means other than it went well. I think it means they either have dollars or they know for absolute certainty they're going to have them based on the code. So all I can do is take it for there. So those were my two updates that I got. So I'm going to take that as a good one. Could mean absolutely nothing other than things went really well. They feel good about it. They saw some paperwork and they get those dollars next week. Maybe that's what it meant. Maybe the attorney said, yep, go find it. We'll be able to close on it next week. I don't know. Iraq should have a president by Monday. There are some different stuff. Parrot, yeah, it could have been P.A. Robinson. It could have been some kind of proof of funds. And I don't know. I don't go shopping. I go buying. Palma, there is no set date. I'm trying to transition throughout the month of January to the Cliff Notes format. There's a whole lot in flux with me. I can either stop doing podcasts for a month or two and get it all organized, or you guys can deal with the piecemeal changes. Up to you. Debbie, I don't take it that negatively, although a lot of people are hurting, so it's a lot of tough. I want to go home shopping without some proof of funds to put down. All right, let's get back to it. Savaya, uncovering the hidden may bring down everyone. Learn about the high cost of Savaya's threats. I thought this one was really good. Oh, geez. Leaving Tennessee on Friday ahead of snow here and getting home ahead of snow in Central Virginia. Kirby, be safe. Go quickly. It's going to be ugly across the U.S. and the South. All right, let's get back to this one because this is where we're at in Minneapolis and Minnesota and everywhere else, I think. This is Iraq, but uncovering the hidden may bring down everyone. Learn about the high cost of Savaya threats. Mark Savaya, Trump's guy in Iraq. Researcher and academic Ali Jabari confirmed on Wednesday that the repeated threats of the U.S. envoy to Iraq, Mark Savaya, to expose the corruption files of the factions carries a complex message of pressure and serious repercussions on the Iraqi scene. So Al-Jabari told Baghdad today that we must be careful of the danger of repeating the threats issued by the U.S. envoy to Iraq regarding the disclosure of financial corruption files linked to the armed factions, as these statements cannot be separated from the context of political and economic pressure exerted by Washington on Baghdad. So they're really, really upset over there in Iraq that he may be exposing the corruption of their politicians and factions, and it may tear everybody down. So they're asking him not to release it. Anybody else want to think on that one? That's like in Minnesota. No. You can't expose it because it tears everybody down. Kind of reminds me of, Julian Assange. 98% of Congress will be gone. This is some Nasera sounding stuff, but it definitely appears to me that the factions are going away. If they're that concerned, I loved that one. But it is crazy how too many in power are willing to let corruption stand so that theirs doesn't get exposed. Trey, I appreciate that. That one is exceptionally kind. I see that one. Have to have stability and structure, and security and stability. Minister of Finance discusses with World Bank. Well, when I go back to this one, it's only blackmail is it really? If they're asking you to do the right thing, step out of the way. We're not going to release all the corruption files. Does that count as like blackmail? Does that Where do you put that one? Because releasing the corruption files is the right thing to do. So you're threatening to do the right thing if they don't do the right thing. I'll let you guys work through the moral implications. Release them. I say that in the US. If it means 98% of Congress is gone, sounds good. Minister of Finance discusses with the World Bank delegation promoting economic reforms and support development projects in Iraq. Your takeaway from this one is just Iraq's continued ascension in the world, their continued work and partnering with large organizations, World Bank, World Trade Organization, all of these. This is important because it's part of their reforms. They said they would be back in these organizations and they could support higher currency, and they're back in these organizations. So I think that's a key one just to keep in mind. We have seen changes. SOMO, a plan to maximize the value of Iraqi oil by diversifying markets. I think this one goes to that stability one. The company that helps manage the oil and all their exports are saying, hey, look, we're working really close with the Iraqi government. We are sitting on oil to release it when prices are high. We are smooth lining deliveries. We're smooth lining or streamlining payment processes, you name it. We're going to do whatever it takes to maximize so that Iraq is just fine as oil values fluctuate. I thought that one was just an important one because it keeps pushing on that whole stability thing. Now, Trump making the news in the Middle East. Trump talks about economic revival in the United States, $18 trillion in investments in a year. And talked about Europe, who's not moving in the right path, and the U.S. that is starting to move in the right path, but was not. It read pretty interesting. I was interested in their take. In other words, are they saying he's destabilizing, he's a threat, he's a monster? They're saying, hey, look, this is business and he's good for business. And that's the stories that they were running in the Middle East today for news. I think that's a positive. Any fun rumors? Yeah, no, not really. But we do have some things that don't fall in the rumor mill. Guantanamo. Trump deal gives U.S. sovereignty over small pockets of Greenland for military bases. Something the last 3 or 4 presidents have tried to do, get a permanent presence for bases, missile systems, etc. in Greenland. Trump de-escalating today after some meetings. And this gets more fun with the next article. Art of the deal. He threw it out, he made it extreme, and he got exactly what he wanted. He's like, I don't think we're going to need the military. We probably don't even need to take over Greenland now. What they appear to be agreeing to. Now, this could change. These are the early stages of giving a number of pockets, meaning land for bases, for radar system, for ports, submarine base, naval base, icebreakers, military base. So they're willing to permanently give these long-term or permanent, depending on which one you're listening to. Although permanent is the same thing as long-term in my book. Long-term is not quite the same thing as permanent, though. But it appears he got exactly what he has been going for all along. And if you've ever studied him, studied his history, read his book, you would know that was his plan. Fitting, Guantanamo, maybe they can try them there. So it appears things are, coming to a conclusion in a lot of the world unrest right now. Did you guys, I went back, I watched a few minutes. He really did. I know it sounded like a campaign and him fluffing himself a lot during it today, but he did rattle a lot of cages in Europe. Dumped on Newsom. Raymond, I've not seen anything fun in Vietnam in probably 3 weeks news-wise. Claire, do you have room for Wayne and I and 3 fur babies? I can't imagine how you guys are going to survive this. Riley, my son, looking for some possible suggestions to get through the next week. Let's see. Mark, Trump said if something happens to him at Davos, then Iran will disappear from the map. Could this be a trap for someone to take a chance at Trump? We catch him, blame Iran, we take Iran out. That's a good question, Gary. I saw that threat and I wondered why. Because one thing you will learn with Trump, every time he makes what appears to be an outrageous statement, it's usually to throw you off so he can get a better negotiating position or more leverage. Or you're just going to be more accepting when he does present the deal because it wasn't as extreme as you were fearing. David, there was no news. I feel bad you did that, David, because there really wasn't any dong news. We got some about 3 weeks ago. The only thing I've heard was somebody that went and sat down with their wealth manager, and it was mentioned. The wealth manager wanted to know which currencies they had, and when he didn't say dong, said, "Are you going to have Vietnamese dong as well?" But they didn't give a rate. They just set a meeting for next month. So that's a bank story I didn't share, but it's really been quiet on the dong. Minus 45 Celsius there. Get out, dude. Raymond, that's too cold. Mm-hmm. Gone fishing. It's not scheduled yet. Tentatively, middle of February. Asking when there's a good chance I may make it to Florida. No fresh news on HCL today. Matter of fact, we are out of Iraq now. We were off to Guantanamo, or should I say Greenland, um, or Green Tomino, right? Was that Green Tomino? Yep, Green Tomino. Trump right about Arctic security. NATO's Root says. So, in what could have been the starting gun of Trump's de-escalation, NATO Secretary General Mark Rutte said today at the World Economic Forum in Davos, Switzerland, that the U.S. president was right about security in the Arctic. When it comes to the Arctic, I think Trump was right. Other leaders in NATO are right. We need to defend the Arctic, the former Dutch prime minister said. We know that the sea lanes are opening them up. Oh, he gets into a little more detail on it and says, yeah, no, we've got to do it. And he also then goes on to say, do you really think Trump, 8 big economies in Europe, including Spain, Italy, Belgium, Canada, by the way, also outside Europe, would have come to 2% in 2025 when they were only at 1.5? No way without Donald Trump, never have happened. So now you've got key people inside NATO going, he was right the whole time. You see this settlement in Greenland, or at least the framework that they can work with for that presence. Tanamo. Sorry, Twitch. That was just kind of fun to say it out loud. Yeah, I like that one. Minus 45 Celsius. Where are you? The International Space Station? What does my accurate gut say, Rick? It's fired. It's going to have chili for dinner tonight. Yeah, I don't know. How many of you folks have a different theory on this one? I do just more support for what was going on, for the rhetoric, for the craziness we have been drugged through for the last few days over this from press around the world and leaders, just to find out that he was right all along. Just kind of, I don't know, what's the word here? Confrontational in his approach, which got him what he wanted. Fred says, I still believe that Russia, China, and the U.S. are splitting the world into 3 sections to defend against the cabal. End of story. What do you guys think? Curious thought. All right, we were in Davos. No, that's still not one. I don't know if you guys ever want to cover this one. MSM, mainstream media melting down over the new term for liberal white women. Awful. We started to talk about it this morning. I'm looking some of those while women moved left, while young men stayed sane. They keep talking about how mainstream media talks how young men are becoming more and more right wing, and when you look at their metrics, they haven't changed at all politically. It's just everybody else went so far left that they appear they're right where they were at with their belief structure. But when the rest of the world goes crazy, really crazy, like bipolar, like off the hook, and now I'm going to offend somebody that's dealing with that, and that one is a tough one. Mental health is tough. Maybe I should have just gone full crazy on the left as the term. So when they go that way, if you didn't join them, you appear like really more extreme the other direction. You haven't changed, but it feels that way. And that's what media is discovering. That is what they're discovering. Steve agrees. Yes, Fred and the Cabal needs to be defeated before we RV. Very good theory. Ian believes Fred's 100% correct. You know, I've not seen any of Putin's comments today. That may change some of my thoughts. Eagle Claw agrees with the 3 divisions. Oh, this is fun. Yeah, let's just run with mentally ill. Cat Viola. I think that's a safer term for us. Apocalyptic. Can't be political and be ideological at the same time. One uses logic and technical, the other is shackled and controlled emotionally. What we need, folks, is the rise of Spock. Maybe we can get Mike Barr to work on that one. We need folks to become far more logical, to understand their emotions, but separate themselves from it in their decision making. Let's see. Putin put up the $1 billion to be on the peace board today. Wow. I did not know that one. The moose. I see the moose in the house. Getting a farm is referring to Europe. Putin says they will all eventually be sitting at Trump's feet, wagging their tails. Oh, no. We got midterms coming, guys. We got a lot of work to do. And no, I'm not telling you to sit on your hands, do nothing, and just make certain you vote, and that's all we can do, and let it play through the system, because I believe that is BS. I believe we spent way too long rolling over. That doesn't mean I'm saying pick up arms, but I do mean, don't hesitate to move forward with conviction. Maybe we need to start showing up at protests and be calm and not take the bait. I think it's dangerous with a number of influencers out there saying, oh, don't do this, don't do that, don't stand up for yourselves. It's just a trap. It's a dangerous way to think. That's when they tell you you want to be good and obedient. Wonder if we should sit on our hands. Boog, I don't know. Some people have big hands. It'd probably be uncomfortable. Let's see. Sir Laughlot said that everything, when it's all said and done, there'll be 5 districts: Modi, Trump, Putin, Z. Can I remember? Doesn't the Bible say like 7? It's going to be midterms. I very much believe there's going to be midterms. Ooh, what an approach. Mark Putin announced today that he's willing to use assets frozen by the U.S. to rebuild parts of Ukraine. The parts that are going to be part of Russia. But bad humor, graveside. I'm just trying to curious how that would work out. Boy, you guys have my brain thinking tonight. I love it. You guys are awesome. I need to call it a wrap so I can get a quick bite before whiskey and wisdom. The only thing I wanted to repeat was, Tony, happy birthday. Sorry I didn't catch you this morning. And see any of those that want to join for whiskey and wisdom.